Let me call the others. We just finished a class. Maybe they
okay,
have gone
okay,
to do other things.
okay.
Yes, Prof. Good afternoon, Prof. Yes,
Good afternoon.
I think
How many are we expecting?
five candidates,
okay.
Prof.
So
Yes.
we have 2 now. We have 3 now.
We have 3 as of now, but Prof, you can start. We'll send the recording on the platform for those that have not joined,
Okay.
so they can listen to it. Prof. Yeah.
All right then.
Well done, Prof.
So we can go on then. I'm not using my camera because of the strength of the network. So you bear with me. I'm not using the camera. So we can go on with the class then. Let me see. Want to share my slides. Okay. So once again, good afternoon. So we just go on and look at the title of the course, the program for this afternoon is Social Work Advocacy and Campaign. And what do we expect that we will do? I'm sure everybody can hear me.
I'm getting you.
All right, please. Once you stop hearing me, let me know, so that I will not be talking to myself alone. All right. So we will look at social work. What do we mean by social work? By now, at this level, every one of us must be able to give some form of definition. We have an international definition, but we must be able to give our understanding of social work. What do we mean when we talk of social work? Then we look at advocacy in social work, we look at campaign in social work. Then we look at social work, advocacy and campaigns, principles of effective social work advocacy, types of advocacy in social work. Then we'll look at key aspects of social work advocacy and campaigns. Then subsequently, I'm sure by the time we get to that place, we should be stopping for today. And then if not, we'll continue with interest groups and the classifications of interest groups. Then we'll also look at steps in conducting a social work campaign, challenges to advocacy and campaigns in Nigeria. And then we'll look at the tools and techniques for advocacy and campaigns. Now, if we look at social work, what do we mean by social work? This is the definition that we have from the International Federation of Social Workers. And it says social work is a practice-based profession and an academic discipline that promotes 1, social change, 2, development, 3, empowerment, and 4, liberation of people. So if I may ask you, with this in mind, what is social work to you? So let me listen to you. Who is going first? Anybody can go first. What do you understand? When we talk of social work? This is a standard definition for all of us to work by, and work with. But when you look at social work, what do you mean? What do you say? What do you understand by that? You want me to call your names? I have Stella, I have Amina, I have Apoguma, I have Rita, and who else do I have? That's all I can see. I have Ijoma. Very good. So let's start with Ijoma.
Hello, ma.
Yes, I'm listening.
I just got back from calling others. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. So you don't know where we are. Don't worry, we are coming
Yes.
back to it. We are looking at the meaning of social work. And we are saying, what does it mean to you? So let's go on. Rita, what do you think? Rita is not there. Amina, what do you think? Apoguma, you want to help out? Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, Prof.
Good afternoon.
I say social work is a practice-based profession and academic discipline. From that definition, you'll see that it's a profession that is being practiced. It's something that you have to do something.
That's right.
An academic discipline that promotes social change. It means, let me just paraphrase and summarize that it's a profession that when it comes in contact with somebody, it changes the situation better than what it meant.
That's right. Thank you. So if we go by that, you see that it's something that has to be practiced, and it's something that cannot leave people the way they were. If somebody was on level 1 and is trying to climb up to level 10, if they come in contact with social work, they should not remain at 1. They should move up. And so that's why we have change there. We have development, we have empowerment, and then we have the liberation of people. Very good. Thank you very much. So Stella, are you ready? I didn't call you earlier. I was coming up. So Stella, you want to contribute? Thank you.
All right, ma. Good afternoon, ma. Well, let me say social work is a process. It is involved in strategic planning.
Okay.
And a process design and implementation of activities. It's based on changing the situation of an individual in the society, a better one. I think that is the total, the holistic work.
So it has to do with strategy. It has to do with planning.
Yes.
And the essence is to change. That's absolutely acceptable. The idea is a process to change. So you take strategy, you look at strategic things, you look at tactics, you plan, and then you look at ways to help this person change, develop, and then empower the individual so that he's liberated, irrespective of what the person may be going through. Thank you. Amina, are you ready?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. From my own perspective is, I would say it improves the well-being of persons in the community, society.
Okay.
And
so it's a process to improve
and their quality of lifestyle and how they
quality of life. All right.
That goes around them, things that they see, things they work on. In fact, their way of life. Social work is improving the general well-being of the people's way of life. I would say so.
All right. So it's all this. So look at the general. So we are looking at different things and looking at the whole process together, looking at the practice of it and looking at the professional side of whatever we are doing. So when we then look at, and we'll just continue. When we then look at social work, what does it involve? Who is involved with it? Who are we going to be looking at? Who do we address when we talk about social work in a way to change people's lives, their circumstances, to improve on what they are doing, to liberate them and to empower them? What do we look at? So we are looking at people in crisis. We're looking at children, adolescents, young persons, older persons. We're looking at the poor. We're looking at battered people, not just women. We have women here, but indeed some men are also battered. So we'll look at the concerns, people and their concerns for spirituality, actually, it's not spiritually, it's for spirituality and religion. So we'll look at those at risks of suicide, all sorts of risks of killing themselves, risk of any type, people that are at risk. So not just adults at risk, children could be at risk, women could be at risk, anybody that is at risk, we are looking at them when we talk of social change. When we talk of social work, we're looking at cognitive delay. What is causing the delay in the cognitive development of people? We're looking at people with serious physical disability. Even they don't just have to be serious. Any kind of disability, they will be our clients. We're looking at chemically dependent people who must do things chemically, who must use chemicals in their bodies. Mentally ill persons, so we are looking at mental illness or mental health matters. We are looking at psychotropic or psychoactive medications, people who are involved with this. We are looking at the gay, the lesbian, bisexual, LB, whatever that they are called. We are looking at them. We are looking at people with with eating disorders, and they have so many types that people who are in the medical side of social work will be able to tell us so much about. Then people experiencing grief or loss, those ones are also there. And then we may also look at, we are also expected to be working at some level with communities experiencing an emergency or experiencing some form of disaster. So you see, social work now becomes a very big matter. It's a very big thing in the life of communities, in the lives of individuals, in the lives of families, institutions. So everybody in society is involved. And if the essence is to ensure change, everybody is going through change. If the essence is to ensure liberation, people who are tied down for one illness or any kind of tying down, they need liberation. People who are battered for any reason, whether physically battered or emotionally battered, they need to be empowered. So when you look at all this, we then begin to see the next stage of our thinking. What do you do when you use social work, when you are as a social worker, and what do you do to help all these kinds of people? We've just been able to mention a few. There are so many more in the society, so many more in our communities. Are we still together?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. So we go on to look at what is advocacy in social, or as it concerns us in social work. So advocacy is the process of supporting any of these persons that we have mentioned, all these people. 1, supporting. 2, defending. 3, representing the rights and interests of these groups, these individuals, these persons, these communities who are marginalized, who are oppressed, who are vulnerable, who are at risk. So when you look at advocacy, it's a process of supporting them. It's a process of defending them. It's a process of representing their interests. Now it aims to empower people so that they can speak for themselves. Now, when you advocate for people, you are giving them power. You are empowering them in some ways so that they can speak for themselves. So that when you also advocate for people, you want to change policies, or you want to influence policies. You want to influence practices or change practices. You want to ensure that social conditions that affect the lives of all these people, depending on who you are looking at, is improved. So that is advocacy. So advocacy is not sitting down. Advocacy is not just talking. Advocacy has to do with supporting them. It has to do with defending. It has to do with helping people to speak for themselves. It has to help. It also has to do with you influencing policy matters with their help. Of course, you cannot do it alone. You need them to be able to do, because if they don't support you, how do you support them? You know they have an issue. You are sure as a social worker or as a group of social workers, you know that this is available. But you cannot just go and be talking for people behind their backs. People say you don't shave somebody's head when he's not there. You can only shave the head that is standing with you. So you cannot do all this without them. So it is to empower the people to be able to speak for themselves. Influence practices in communities, in societies, and ensure that these conditions that affect their lives become better as we work with them. The next thing you want to look at is campaign. Campaigns are organized efforts. Remember what advocacy is to support, is to defend, is to represent. Now you are looking at campaign. Campaign is to raise awareness about their situation. It is to influence public opinion. Remember, you want to influence policy. You want to ensure change of practices. So you must be able to garner public influence, public opinion. You must be able to garner that. If you don't have that, if you have not harvested a public opinion, you are not likely to succeed in your campaigns. But you want to bring people to your side so that they can understand the plight of these people, and then bring about social or policy change on specific social matters, social issues. Now, campaigns are strategic. They involve mobilization of resources. They involve partnerships. Campaign will always involve media activities. If you want to succeed, if you want to succeed in our campaigns, we must have resources. We must mobilize resources. We must have people who are partnering with us. You cannot say it's only a social work matter and then you carry the burden alone. It's not possible. You cannot carry it alone. Social work, even as a body, workers as a body cannot carry it. You need interdisciplinary, and that's why in social work everything is interdisciplinary. It is multidisciplinary. It does not have only one part of society. It carries everybody in the society with them. So there must be partnerships. Of course, you can't build partnerships if you don't have networks. So you must build networks and then have partnerships. And then you must always use the media. The media would be the ones making the noise for you, all in an attempt to achieve goals. So if you need to do this, you are looking at advocacy, which is to support. And then you are looking at campaigns to raise people's awareness in the communities, to raise people's awareness in our societies, to say that so number of people, these groups of people are going through these kinds of problems. What can we do? So you need resources to be able to do that. You need partnerships and you need the media to help you make the noise. Are we still together?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. So we go on. So in social work, when you look at advocacy and campaigns, what does it involve, or what would it involve? We say this is actively working to influence policies, systems, and practices to improve the well-being. Remember, one of the definitions we had earlier was it talked about the well-being and talked about the quality of life of marginalized people or vulnerable persons. Now, it will include awareness raising. We talked about that, about social issues. Now, let's use an example. Let's go back one step and look at these ones that we have. These are people, these are some persons who have issues, who have matters. How do we do it when we want to use advocacy or we want to use campaign? We can pick any of them, depending on the one we are working with. If you are working with the poor, what is your definition of the poor? People who live in face me, I face you house, or people who eat only once a day, that may be too broad. You may, if you also look at mental illness, that may be too broad because it's large. But you have different people in this group. And that is becoming a big matter in our society. Mental health. And then you look at domestic violence and battered women or battered men. You can pick any one of them and then raise awareness on how to go about or what these people are going through. So when you do social work campaigns and advocacy, you are raising awareness about social issues. It could be this social, let's say it could be domestic violence. If you watch African Magic these days, you see that quite a number of the films are beginning to talk about violence in the home. It's now becoming common so that people can aware. It's a way of raising awareness so that people can become knowledgeable. People can understand the plight of people who are under these kinds of substance abuse. People who are under that kind of influence, you can raise awareness. Then we say it's to mobilize support for change. Now, when you do this, you are raising awareness so that people can know. When they know, what do? You are looking for their support. You are looking for resources from them so that you can use to change the situation of the people. And it also has to do with engaging in activities that promote the rights and access to resources for these persons. Then social work advocacy can occur at various levels. There are different levels we can talk about that we can see social work working, social work growing, and social work doing things for people. Now, one level is at the individual level. Individuals, man, woman, girl, boy, child, one person. So you address that. You can also be community-wide. What are the initiatives you are carrying into the community? So everybody in the community is going to benefit from it. It's not just an individual. It's not just one family, the whole community. And then when we talk, it could carry activities also up to changing policies in the nation. Depending on the level of the matter, it can carry a change of policy nation and internationally. Let's look at the rights of children, for instance, the rights of people living with disability. It started at the international level, and today we have them at different levels. The same thing with smoking in public places. People locally may not think about it, but when advocacy starts internationally, then people now get to know, and it drops to the smaller communities. So social work advocacy can come at any of these levels. You can advocate for a few persons, you can advocate for an individual, you can advocate for societies, large communities, and then you can also advocate so that there will be changes in policies. What again do we see? Are we still together? Do we have any questions before we go to talk about the principles?
We are together, ma.
Thank you very much. So let's look at the principles that affect social work advocacy. What are the principles that affect social work advocacy? One, the things you need to understand when you want to advocate for whether an individual or for the whole community, or you want to advocate that policy for a nation will change. One, you must have respect for human dignity. You must know that individuals have inherent worth. Everybody has some dignity. Everybody has something inside of him that must be protected. And that's the dignity. So we must have respect for human dignity. We must consider empowerment, enabling people and communities to understand their rights. So if I don't know my needs, if I don't know my rights, how do you want to talk about it to me? So I must be able to tell you that I need something. This is what I need. They may not immediately know. And one method of doing that is through conscientization. When you talk to the people, when there's dialogue, then they will now know that they may have a feeling of things that they know they are lacking, but there is no way of them saying it out. So you can help them, empower them to bring this out, and then they will be able to ask for their rights. If they can't ask for their rights, then you have not empowered them. You have just engaged them in talking. So once you are working with a group of people, you understand that they have human dignity, their own, and protect it, respect it. And then you also help them to be able to ask for their rights. They understand, they know. Now let them be able to ask for it. Social justice is one of the principles also. So we have challenging discrimination, oppression, and inequality. So when you are asking for social justice, we are empowering these people to say that there's discrimination here. We cannot continue like this. There's oppression here and there's inequality. So all this must come in. That is the essence of, or one of the things reasons why you are doing an advocacy, so that you can challenge discrimination, so that you can take people out of oppression, and then you can ensure that we can't have equality, because even the fingers are not equal. Naturally, life is not equal. That's why we have levels in society. But you can ask for fairness, that if you give one person, then give another. If you build a school in a community, then build in another community. If you give one family a meal, then give another family a meal. Not to say that only these people will qualify. That would be unfair. Another thing you want to look at as a principle of effective social work is confidentiality and ethics. You must protect the privacy of the people. People don't like their linen washed outside, you see. People don't like, they know they have a problem, but they don't want you going about telling everybody. That's why you have to maintain confidentiality, and they must be able to trust you. If they see that you are telling too much, then they may be discouraged. So you have to protect the privacy, especially when you are dealing with individual persons concerning all the things that were mentioned earlier. You want to be careful. You want to ensure that there's privacy, there's data protection. You want to ensure that. And of course, we talked about networking. We talked about partnerships. When you look at the principle of effective social work, there must be collaboration. You cannot do it alone. So you must work in partnership with other professionals, other organizations, and with stakeholders. You must be able to work with stakeholders. You cannot just say that because you are the social worker and you know what they need, you ignore the nurse. No. Or you ignore the institute, the school. No. Or you ignore, who again can you ignore? The cleaner. No. All of them will work together. All of us must work together in collaboration. So when you look at principles for effective advocacy, you must consider human dignity. You must ensure that you are empowering them to ask for what they want and what they think is theirs. There must be social justice. There must be confidentiality and ethical practice. There must be collaboration. Are we still together? Stella, you want to ask a question? I can't hear you. It's not clear.
I was cut off by network.
Pardon?
It's network.
Yes, it's network. Oh, I can't hear you. Now you want to ask a question or make a contribution? Yes.
No, network is okay from your end.
Oh.
So we listen to you. You are clear.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
All right then.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go on. Types of advocacy in social work. What types do we see? We see self-advocacy. We see individual advocacy. So we also see systems. I'll come back to the slide before. We'll see system advocacy, legal advocacy, and we have media advocacy. So let's look at them one after the other. We have social self-advocacy. So when you are looking at advocacy in social work and the types that we have, you look at self-advocacy, and this is where you empower and help the client to speak for themselves. Now, people living with disabilities, for example, that's an example. Persons living with disability are advocating for access. What do I mean here? If you look at a public building, and there are 2 or 3 people in that building who have disabilities, and there is no ramp for them, and they have wheelchairs, or they can't climb stairs easily. And then each time they want to go up the stairs, they have to be carried. You can empower them, you can help them, you can talk with them, and so that they can begin to advocate for these things themselves. So they advocate for access into the building. And after thorough thing, when they do this, when you have encouraged them to do self-advocacy, you are not talking, but you are talking behind, and you are encouraging them from behind. You can ask for this. So you do it yourself. You speak. You are not speaking now, but they are the ones speaking so that they can have access. That is self-advocacy. Now, individual advocacy now is social work represents the individual. Now, with self-advocacy, the client is the one that is speaking for himself. With individual advocacy here, it is the social worker that is speaking on behalf of the client. And this is an example, helping clients of domestic violence access legal support. Some time ago, I had this young lady who was being battered by her husband. I am not on the field, but I know people that are on the field. What do? I contact the social workers who are concerned, who know about these things, and they will take it up. In this case I'm talking about, they were able to take it up, and she was removed from the abusive environment. I don't know the level of settlement that they have reached now, but at least something was done. So the social worker took it up and decides to represent the person so that this person is removed from that kind. Remember, we're looking at change, and we're looking at liberation. We're looking at empowerment. So this is one way of doing that. So individual advocacy is a type of advocacy in social work. Self-advocacy is another type. Another type is the system advocacy. This is influencing policies and institutional practices. For example, campaign for better child protection laws. That is a systemic one. So it's a systems advocacy. Then we also have the legal advocacy, using legal means to defend the rights of people. Any of the persons we are working with, but you want to use legal means to defend their rights. We can take an example that somebody does not have access to legal aid. The person has a case, but he doesn't have access. So the social worker can help through the legal, it's not legal counsel now. I don't know whether it's legal counsel, but you can use the legal advocacy to get the person aid so that he can access whatever he wants legally, and then he'll be able to get whatever is accrued to that individual. The other thing we want to look at, the other kind of advocacy that we have in social work is the media. This is using media to raise awareness and ensure influence. You can use media for any of these things. Example that we have there is campaigns against gender-based violence through radio or through television. So you are using, like I gave the example of films these days. A lot is going on around that, and you can see what people are doing to raise awareness so that, and we can comfortably call it media advocacy. So you are using the media to get what we want on behalf of our clients. All right, so we go on to another aspect, which is the key aspects of social work advocacy and campaigns. What are the key aspects? Do you have any questions before I continue? Do you have any questions on the slides we've looked at earlier? Self-advocacy, types of advocacy, principles of effective advocacy, social work campaign in social work. Do you have any questions there? Yes, Amina. I can't hear you. Any questions?
Ma, you are flowing, so you can go on.
All right, thank you. So we'll just continue. Thank you. All right. So we look at, the next thing we want to look at is the key aspects, some key aspects of social work advocacy and campaign. So we look at the key aspects there. What do we have there as key aspects? One, we have to identify the issues. You cannot say you want to advocate or campaign for a people when you don't know the problems. So the first thing there is to identify the issues. And here we have social workers must identify social problems and injustices that negatively impact individuals, families, and communities. So anything that is negatively affecting the lives of these people, that is having a negative impact on them, you want to identify that. You can't jump to something you don't know. So you want to identify the issues. What is the problem in this family? What is the problem with this individual? And what is the problem in the community? Or what is the problem with the community? The next thing you want to do is you want to mobilize resources. This involves gathering support, financial and human. And what do you want to do is that so that you'll be able to address the issues that you have identified. The first thing is to identify the issues. Now you have identified the issues. What do? You are penciling down how you want to solve the problems, but then you need resources. That's why you cannot do it alone. You need finance. You need persons, people who will stand with you, people who will be able to run with the idea and run with the problem so that we can get solutions. The next thing is to promote social justice. Just as we said in this slide, you see, social justice is to challenge discriminations. So what are you going to do there? What you are looking at there is that you want to ensure that everybody is comfortable. There's fairness. There's fairness. So advocacy here is a core component. You see, when you look at social justice, whatever we are trying to do is to ensure that there's equality, there's human dignity, and there's justice, which is social justice, which is our major concern. So that one person is not treated fairly, another person is treated unfairly. Everybody will carry the same level of treatment. So there must be the aspect of social work that you are looking at that we must stress now is promoting social justice. What again do we need to do? In this, you have identified the issues. You have determined what it is that you want as justice and as fairness. You have also thought of all that you need when it comes to resources that you need to raise awareness. Is an indispensable part of campaign and advocacy to raise awareness. Campaigns aim to educate the public about the social problem that you have identified. The whole public may not know, but a few people know. So what is the impact on the people? How often various media and communication strategies address this matter? You are going to look at all this because what you want to do is to raise the awareness of the people. The next thing you want to also look at as a key aspect is influencing policy. Now, you have identified the problem. You have gathered and garnered resources. You have raised awareness. Now, what do? What is the essence of all this if there's nothing that comes out of it? What should come out of this is that we must change a policy. We must change the way we do things. We must change the written rule and procedure about that particular thing. What should people do? Now, if we don't have it as policy stated, there will be abuse. Something may happen again, and then there won't be anything to refer to. But we as social workers should help to advocate for policy change at local level, at regional levels, at international levels, and even at our national levels, so that systemic issues are dealt with. Now, if we do not ensure the policy, that policies are changed, then systemic issues may not be addressed, and we'll just be running on one spot or going around in circles without achieving any positive thing. So another key aspect is providing direct support. This can include case advocacy, where social workers help individuals navigate complex systems and access resources. So there must be direct support. So you must provide direct. It's not bringing out your money that is the direct support, but your time is direct support. Using your contact so that they can get things is a direct support. So these are some aspects. Do you think, and we can still add any more? What do you think that we can still add to this? We've looked at raising awareness as a key aspect, influencing policy, providing direct support, identifying the issues, mobilizing resources, and promoting social justice. So what do you think we can add? You are just agreeing with me.
This
Is that all that we can
providing
have?
direct.
Yes, Ijoma.
Sorry, now please. This providing direct support. You said with
Yes.
using your time and experience.
Yes.
To help the individuals.
Yes. So we can add to this direct support, not just resources, your time, your experience.
And experience.
Yes, your experience is very, very important. Even if you are a new social worker who has just been licensed, there's a way you can see you still have some experience, because you have people who have done these things before. You can go to them. They are in your own network. So you're also using your own network to directly support clients.
Yes. Networking and linkages.
Networking, yes. So we also add, as part of providing direct support, that you add networking too. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. All right. So let's go on. Examples of social work advocacy and campaigns. These are a few examples that we can have. We have said that you can use individuals, you can use you can work with individuals, you can use communities, you can use families. So what are the examples that we can have? One, we have case advocacy. You have case advocacy. This is assisting a client in securing a house or healthcare by navigating relevant systems, because that is your area. And because you have networks, you are not working alone, you are collaborating with all sorts of people. A child has a problem in school, you are a school social worker, but you know that his major problem is that they don't have good housing. They don't have a place that they can call their own, or he's sick and he's not able to access proper health care. You can work with the hospital people, the hospital social worker. You can work with the social worker that is in housing. We are just growing in social work in Nigeria. We are just growing. But in our growth, we know that these are areas. We know where social workers should be. And so it's in our growth that we'll be able to ensure through our own advocacies and campaigns as social workers that these things will be taken care of. So you have case advocacy. You can also have community advocacy. That this is working with a community to address the issues that they have. For example, food insecurity, or there's lack of access to education in a community. You can do community advocacy. So you are not just holding on to one individual, one child in the school that does not have food, but you are looking at the whole community that is lacking food. It could be during the dry season. And you know that in most communities, in some, not most, in some communities in Nigeria, where there's dry season, there's no food because there's nothing to help them get food. So these will be communities that we address. Again, we can look at policy advocacy, and this is lobbying for legislation so that it can protect the rights of the people. For example, people living with disability, and then support the kind of housing that is relevant for them. I just mentioned climbing up. In some houses, we have people with disability who live on the 3rd floor, on the 4th floor. There are no lifts. How do they walk? People have to carry them. These are things that we can advocate. So we can lobby people in legislation at the legislative houses to ask that do a policy that every building that is as high as this must have a lift. A building that is high as this must have a ramp. So these are things that we can ask for. We can also ask for people with disability that every building must have a toilet for people living with disability. Not the regular kind of toilets that every one of us can use, but one in a building for anybody who has this kind of disability. And then it will be a policy thing. It will be written down there, but it goes with lobbying. I don't know whether it's further down okay, it's further down. But let me ask the question now. What is the difference? What is the difference between lobbying and bribing? Yeah, we say lobbying for legislation that protects the rights of the people, living with whatever disability, and then people who how do they live in houses. So we want to look at the legislation. What's the difference between bribing and lobbying? Is there a difference, or are they the same?
They are not the same.
Yes, Stella.
They are not the same. In bribing, you'll find out that you might go wanting to get something that actually is not supposed to be yours.
I can't hear you properly.
It could still be network.
It's network, yes. I can't hear you. It's shaking.
It's okay.
Can you speak out? Can you just speak out a little louder?
I am saying that in lobbying, you will find out you are speaking with authority. You have maybe a case, a situation that is everybody seeing that is an injustice in a particular society, in life of an individual. You are speaking it, and it is religious. You lobby to get the best, but in bribery, you are yes, in bribery you are actually trying to be selfish, getting just whatever you think you want to get from the law to suit yourself, not because of the society. That is bribing.
That is bribing.
To
get. Okay, so bribing is selfish.
It's selfish.
Lobbying is not selfish.
No.
All right. Don't you think people can lobby for selfish reasons?
I think so. They can.
They can. People can lobby for selfish reasons. All right. Thank you.
I think so too.
Ijoma, yes.
I think so. Just
people
like
can lobby for selfish reasons. Yes, I agree with you.
Yes, no.
But there's a difference between lobbying and bribing.
Yes,
lobbying,
there is.
You don't have to. Okay, go on.
In lobby, you try to influence.
Okay.
Why bribery? You use money
to influence. So it's also to influence.
It's no. And but lobby is influence. In short, lobby you influence to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
You seek audience. You want to be heard. You seek audience. You try to influence in a positive way.
In a positive way. Akpoguma.
Ma.
Yes.
I'm the one that just spoke.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Ijoma. Okay, thank you. Okay, Stella, your mic is not muted. That's why. Sorry, I just saw that. I was just listening. All right. So there's a slight difference between lobbying and bribing. One would involve money. Lobbying sometimes would involve money because you want to lobby the chairman of your local government. You will take him to lunch. You will carry the food in your village to give him. It's a community problem. He's the one, you will go to his house. So if you look at it closely, there are some shady things going on there. But one is better. One is to say that, see, we have a problem. Listen to us. We don't have to give you money. We don't have to. We don't have to pay for what you have done for us. You are the chairman of the local government. You are representative there. But we have come to bring our matters to you. So we talk to you, we let you see the reason, we give you so many instances why you have to change the policy. You have to talk on our behalf so that the policy can be changed. Whereas in bribing, the person just collects money. He may or he may not do anything. He collects money. All right, thank you. So we also have examples of social work advocacy and campaigns. We have campaigning for funds. When you actually go out to raise awareness so that you can support a program or address people, for example, people with mental health or people who don't have homes, homeless people, you are looking for money so that you can build homes for them or so that you can rent houses for some people who have just been rehabilitated. This is also campaigning for funds, is some kind of work that we do in social work. Now, these are some things that we want to do. You see, when you talk about social work, campaigns and advocacy, there's this that is very important, and that is interest groups. Interest groups. Interest group is anybody, is any organization that has the intention or that is attempting to persuade officials to consider their places and consider the aims of the people when it comes to the legislation of the land. So there are interest groups. You know, when you talk of people quarreling, you talk of interest groups. There are always interest. So in campaign and in advocacy, there are interest groups. So it could be a national one, it could be a statewide one, it could be a community-wide one, but there are interest groups. Interest groups could be permanently organized or short-lived, not off there, sorry, or short-lived. Sometimes they are short-lived. Interest groups also can be permanent. You can have a permanent interest group that these ones, anything concerning this community, they are the ones that will handle it. Or you can have one that is just for a particular purpose and they just do it and close it. But every interest group has a reason. So all major interests in the community or in the society are represented by one group or the other. That is why you have the group of social workers. You have the group of Maggi sellers. You have the group of Okada riders. There are different things and they are interest group for their people. You have the group of school owners. They have is an interest group. And whatever they do is to protect the people and to attempt to ensure that everything concerning their group is taken care of, their interest group. So interest groups do not aim to take over power or form a second government. No, they don't want to take over power from government. What they want to do is to influence political parties. What they want to do is to influence politicians, or they influence the state government, the state or the national government or the local government departments that concern their case. If we take, for example, let's use our own example in social work. What is the government department that we'll go to if we have a problem in social work? What is the government department that will address our matters? Yes, Amina. Are we all social workers here?
We go to the Commissioner for Women Affairs.
We go to the ministry. We go to the ministry for which affairs?
Women Affairs.
Is it only Women Affairs?
And humanitarian.
Humanitarian. That's where we go to. That's the first thing. In some states, that's at the federal level. At the state level, what do you have in some states?
We have both women affairs and other and humanitarian differently.
Do you have social welfare?
In women affairs now, that's why
in women affairs.
Yes, ma'am.
So when you want to look at the matter, where do you really go to in that ministry?
To the office of the Honorable Commissioner.
That's not where you start. You have a social work matter. Where do you start?
See, in our own office, I think it goes like this. When you get to the Honorable Commissioner, he now directs the Director of Child Welfare, or if he affects women, Director of Women Affairs Department. If he affects people living with disabilities, he now calls on Director of Rehabilitation.
Okay.
Because Women Affairs has 5 major departments.
What are the departments?
We have community, we have social, we have child, we have rehabilitation. 4 of us.
Women and gender.
Women and gender?
Oh, women affairs now.
Okay. And women affairs. So if there is an issue, is it the commissioner you go to first?
Depending on who is on your entering point. If you were referred to the director, or you have a particular problem, like if you are coming for a case that affects a vulnerable child,
yes,
you can get to Director Child Development.
That is what I'm talking about. That is where you start.
Okay.
You start there. But the person who will help us to influence the matter is the commissioner.
Okay.
The director is going to help us to get to that place.
Okay.
You understand? The commissioner is not the first person. If you go there first, they will send you out. But you first of all lobby down, and then you move up. Because most times these people are political office holders. They are not the people who do the work.
Yes, ma'am.
But they are the ones who give the final mouth, you see. All right, thank you. You have shed some light there for us. Do we have any other opinion that is different from what Ijoma has told us? Do we have something different? All right, we go on. We're still looking at interest groups. We say interest groups represent particular or specific interests or objectives of a group in a society or objective of the community. So interest groups an interest group is any organization or anybody that is helping to solve their problem. He considers it, he knows it, and he wants to help. There's an attempt to help. Interest groups also, if you look at them, interest groups apply pressure. If you have an interest group that is not applying pressure, it's not an interest group. So the interest group applies pressure by making financial contributions. So if you are a member of the Maggi Sellers Association, or you are a member of the people living with disability group, you will make financial contribution because you are an interested party. Remember that you want to help them. So if the money is not coming from you alone, you can help them get people who will make financial commitments, because you need money for advocacy, you need money for campaigns. Interest groups also apply pressure by appealing to public opinion. You want people to sympathize with your case. You want people to support what you are doing. So you must be able to appeal to their sense. If you are able to catch that, then every other thing will follow. The next thing is that interest groups also provide expertise. As interest groups for people living as a member of the interest group of people living with disability, you have the expertise. And so you are going to provide specialized knowledge for them. You know it. You are a social worker. You know how we want to do it. Remember that you have planned, you have strategized. And you have the experience, you have the knowledge. So you are going to provide that as a member of that interest group. Then the interest group also apply pressure by forming civil disturbance activities. You know, people can do civil disturbance, or they do direct action, direct strike. They say today, all the people with living with disabilities will go and line up on the major street where the governor takes to his office. 7 a.m., we know he passes that place at 10 minutes after 7. 7 a.m., all the people are there. Everybody living with disability and their pressure group, they are there, everybody carrying placard. What do you think will happen? He will listen to them. It's either he runs back to his house because he doesn't know whether they will mop him, or he stops to listen and then something is happening. These are interest groups. So they can form pressure by civil disturbance or direct action. And this is where I was talking about bribing and lobbying. So you see, they form interest groups, apply pressure by bribing. Sometimes this is illegal payment to elected representatives and state officials. You begin to pay them so that they can change things. That's bribing. Then lobbying is the act of persuading influential officers and officials to vote in favor of a cause, or so that they lend their support to the aims of the interest group. Every interest group has aims and they have objectives. Every interest group. So what is the objective of this group? What is the objective of that group? All of them, and how do they want? So they may decide to use any of these, but these are the things that they will do. They will definitely look for money, look for people who make financial contributions. They will look for people with the expertise, with the experience, with the specialized knowledge. They will appeal to public opinion, and then they can go on to use politicians and government officials, either by bribing them or by lobbying. But most communities don't have money. Most vulnerable people don't have money. So bribing may not really work. So it's lobbying that they will resort to and work with that. Any questions? Any questions?
No, ma.
All right, thank you. So how do we classify interest groups? How do we classify interest groups? I'm sure we'll close with this classification today and then continue the next time when we meet, because we have 4 hours for this. I guess, is it 4 hours?
It's 2 hours.
It's just 2 hours. We still have another class for 2 hours.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So we'll close with this today, and then we'll continue. So I think I've been able to charge your minds about campaigns, charge your minds about advocacy, able to charge your minds about the aspects of and the principles, key aspects and principles of advocacy and of campaigns in social work. And then we have also been able to look at all the clients that we are likely to have. Some, we cannot exhaust them because new problems are coming up, new challenges are coming up, and then we'll be able to add to our list for the future. But today we'll stop here, and the next class we'll continue with the classification of interest groups. If there are no questions, If there are no questions, can we call it a day then?
Are we not dealing on this
Yes,
classification?
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
You want me to conclude this one?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll conclude this before we go on. All right, so we looked at interest groups and said these are the classifications. So for next class, we are going to start with the examples. You see, I put there the question mark for examples. So you come to the next class with examples for us on these types of interest groups. We have the protective interest group and we have the promotional interest group. The protective ones would be the ones that defend the interests of a particular section of society. The promotional ones, they are the ones that support a particular cause of a group. All they want to do is just to support. What is this group standing for? We want to support it. So next class, we are going to come with examples of this. Everyone will have examples of this for us. All right?
Okay.
All right.
All
then.
right.
All right.
All right then. So have a good weekend if you still have any.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
All right then.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right then. Thank you. So have a
God bless you, man.
Amen.